Alright, welcome to BIGMANTINGZ, where we talk about big man things.
We talk about big man things,
You know,
You two are gay,
nah,
man.
I'm like, yo, this
You
ain't
two are
big
both
man
in the air,
things,
yeah,
man.
why- Still holding feelings.
Hold on.
Nah, I don't hold feelings like that, bro. I don't catch feelings like that. I'm not a girl, bro.
You know.
Right, so meanwhile we're at this junction, just a moment to shout out the Creeper Juice. Yeah, just get at us in the description if you want any of this. Yeah, this is the power thing.
We'll
Yeah,
give you the WhatsApp
often
number.
you see man's just sips in, and this is what helps the conversation.
This is what turns Ace
little
into
easier.
a beast.
You get me? But it's also the Ace. We call it the Ace Beta because it always brings out his worst side. But yeah, man, shout out
Really,
to
it should be Ace.
shout out to the originator, the Creeper Juice. Yeah, let's get out.
Put it like this then. From an educational standpoint, has the education system failed us? The school education system failed us?
Us.
As in black people.
No, master, me have a degree.
Society.
Oh, you put
I
that last time, remember?
I drew. Nah, but
Society.
Has it failed society? I think it has.
Well, yeah, obviously.
I think it has.
You know,
a lot of stuff's irrelevant
You know what? The school system is not fit for purpose.
anymore.
No, let me
it-
just say
it-
one
it-
thing though.
Hold on. But when I say that, yeah, right. I mean, it is outdated.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah, I agree.
We're still
It hasn't
almost doing the
moved
same
with the
things that our
times.
parents did.
It's
Everyone
true.
did, algebra. And I'm not saying it's not needed, but there's been.
Mrs. Avi for that.
But
yeah.
one thing COVID did do though is it did actually show the importance of the school system because like homeschooling, bro.
Hard, man. Not as easy.
It's a different thing. It is a different thing.
That's because you ain't got patience.
I hear you. I do agree with what Ms. is saying. Though.
Yeah.
I do think in certain it's. I don't want to say because obviously it's a cliche statement, but I do feel like that the school system is setting up kids to fail in some respects. I don't want to seem like that's the generic.
elaborate.
I don't want to because there's certain kids that aren't well set up for whatever reason to sit exams, to do certain lessons in school, where more so there'll be more you'd get more out of them doing, I don't know, more practical things or more things that are going to be and they may come out with just that specific, but that would take them into a career, but that will serve them
A
for life.
vocation. Some of them are better for the
You see what I'm
vocational
saying? And
subjects.
it's not set up like that. It's not set up like that. You'll get kids that will be struggling to get even a E or a D or whatever else. And really,
It's 1 to 9 now. It's 1 to 9.
well, a 5, a 6, if we're saying in that respect. I don't think it's moved with the times. I think it, from what I can see, I don't think it's moved with the times in that sense.
Just put out numbers instead of letters to make it look like it.
Yeah.
I think to play
Devil's advocate. Go on.
Nah, not the devil's advocate.
Just advocate. Oh, go on.
advocate.
Go on.
But to play advocate in this scenario, I think you have to look at the stresses and strains that schools are generally under.
I agree.
The stresses and strains that they're generally under is the tick box exercise performed by the Ofsted inspection.
Are you talking
process.
about now, or
No,
are you
I'm talking about historically. I'm talking
in
about
general.
throughout. For the last 15 years, schools have been subject to Ofsted inspections, but Ofsted inspections come in and assess a school's feasibility and whether it's actually performing based on remedial stats, which can be drawn down from anywhere. So yeah,
Do you think
it
that
isn't
that
fit
type
for
of tick
purpose.
box aspect of life, that health and safety thing, that's actually changed a lot of things, not just schooling, even like just going to get
No,
a checkup
because
or
it's
going
taken-
where they're just going to the hospital. More so, it's a checkbox thing first, then it's the
Liability,
care,
innit?
etc.
No, because what it's done is it's taken the focus of the teacher away from the
Teaching.
mentees. The mentees is the most
It's a checkbox aspect of life and schooling. So the teachers, their priority is to make sure the checkboxes are right, more so than dealing with the individuals that they're working
But
with.
who's
So,
okay? The question
Yes,
is
you're
though.
right.
The question is though, who has the onus of that though? Like changing.
Depends, because
what
at the end
that
of the
is, because
day,
you have
if you're
you have the director, you have
if you're a
the board, the
mainstream
governors.
school, if you're a mainstream school, you follow
Curriculum.
what the government say.
Yeah.
If you're an independent school, you have a little bit more flexibility and scope
Yeah.
over the curriculum, over what you teach, how you teach it, and what you offer.
So there's no impetus in regards to the governors for a school saying, okay, we don't. Why are we changing? Blah blah. What's going on?
Comes down to the core principles of what the school's based on, innit? Because at the end of the day, a school can be set up for a whole host of different reasons. There's a lot in the last 5-10 years. There's been a lot more independent schools springing up, who are actually offering more of a vocational.
From what I was saying.
Who are offering that based on
Well, they
knowing.
cater to the individual.
Now, who are building syllabus, building qualifications,
For
building
certain types of
schools
people, yeah.
around
Yeah.
kids with specific needs.
But Natty, why did you ask the question?
I asked the question because we're heading to a new world, a new world that is technology based. So with that, there are certain jobs that are going to become obsolete.
I hear you.
And just from the outside looking in, and bearing in mind my kids are at school, secondary school, the syllabus isn't preparing them for what's to come.
No, it's not.
But,
So
that,
you're going
but that's
to-
been the way, though, isn't it?
No, but
that's
But this
that
is
makes
the
this
point.
is the point.
Yeah,
So
I
is
hear- I
ignorance
hear.
acceptable in
But this is
2021?
what
because
if I can just put my 2
Go on.
points
Throw
in,
your 2
yeah.
pence in because I want to hit Natty with something.
Because based off, and correct me if I'm wrong, but in every other sector of life, like there's always been a review or a cause for change or something, but it doesn't seem like. And you have to
Education.
take consideration. You do have some of those, like I don't know, independent schools that probably are doing a bit more different to the
more
general
bespoke.
curriculum. But based on what Nat is saying, there is a lot of change happening in the world, and if we're still doing the same type of subjects in the same type of way in 2021, then setting them up to fail. I'm not sure about setting them to fail, but
That's what I
not
don't want to use it,
preparing
but that's the
them.
best way I
Preparing
could
them.
say it.
Yeah.
That's the best
Not
way I could
preparing
say
them.
it.
preparing them.
And ultimately, I think in general, I feel like a lot of people, when you go to school and so on and so forth, you get your grades and whatever, but more often than not, you gotta go to college. The more often than not, you gotta go to uni.
Certain
And then
kids,
even when you get through all of that, you still potentially not set up because there's many people that we probably all know that got degrees after degrees and
Can't get a job.
and then going to retail.
either can't get a job or
Yeah,
not doing anything that was
I hear
they
ya.
majored in the
Yeah.
first place. So education as a whole is here and there.
Certain kids don't even know or do well at taking tests.
I would say that one thing you haven't realised
Go on.
is that if I've already said that there are schools out there that would offer your child, if you've got one of those children who, for example, struggles in class, struggles with focus, you could potentially move your child to a school that will meet their need.
Yeah.
So
the onus
hold
is
on,
on you then.
hold on. So me coming back to Natty's initial statement is ignorance prevalent in 2020
Okay, yeah.
and is it going to be prevalent in 2021? The answer is the onus is on you as parents
So the onus is
to
on
then
you
go
as
out there
parents.
and search those schools that, let's say for example, you've got a kid who they just can't engage in reading and writing. They just can't engage. But yet still, if you was to give them a base unit for a computer, a
They'd be able
CPU,
to
and say
run
to them,
that.
yo, break that down, they'd be able to break it down, break down all the parts and put it back together in such a way.
Yeah.
If you're not going to be out there as a parent looking for those schools with those opportunities, then you're ignorant. And you're
You've
a
got to
self-fulfilling
take
prophet.
that
That
responsibility.
statement is a self-fulfilling prophecy for that parent.
Mainly,
So I would say-
let me hit back at you then.
Oh no!
Because-
I don't know if I'm ready.
Because obviously, you're talking about kids who struggle. I think the schooling system, is out of date for even kids who can thrive in mainstream. Because as I said, I still don't think it deals with
You know what?
Life.
fundamentally,
You know what?
Life.
any
Do you know
life,
what?
That's
Yeah,
what I
no
just
life
said.
skills.
Do you know
And don't
what?
get me wrong,
I don't get
I would.
offense.
Huh?
I don't get offense.
Do you know what?
Can't reach.
Can I be honest with you?
Bluetooth.
Can I be honest with you? From my experiences in education, is that my experiences in education are a little bit like this. Throughout my entire 15, 20-year career or whatever, I've looked at it and I've seen two things. Number one, those that really excel in education, there's no real reward for them.
Yeah.
There is no real reward.
Yeah.
Their reward is they're finished with 9s and 8s on
Eights
their
or whatever.
GCSEs.
Yeah.
That's the reward for them. But in
wrong
terms
with
of going, no. In terms of going through school, in terms of the carrot and stick method, which is what we all grew up on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
There's
school,
no rewards.
for school.
Yeah, in terms of the schooling, there's not many rewards for those types
I
of
don't know
kids.
what you mean.
What
When
do
you
you
say
You're saying
reward,
there's
what
there's
reward
always
are
a
you
stick, but there's no carrot.
There's no carrot for them.
What
what do you
reward
mean?
are you looking? Are
What are you looking for?
Yeah, I don't
The aim
understand.
is to get the A.
The aim is to get the A. Okay, you lot are a little bit more dated from a school standpoint because you're not as clued in as probably what I am. But what I'm saying is that those kids that do well in school,
Yeah.
they're just expected to do well because they came in and their stats said this kid can do that on maths, that English, that on
goodness
science.
is his own
So they're
reward.
good, yeah. But whereas, and this is what doesn't make any sense to me, because those kids that kick up, make up the most noise,
They get rewarded.
disrupt,
They get rewarded.
they're the ones that they're the ones that a school will offer a reward, dangle a carrot, dangle a carrot,
Reward you
dangle a
for bad
carrot,
behaviour.
and in essence, it's almost like these kids, they're poorly behaved and consistently being rewarded for poor
But
behavior.
isn't that society? Let me just. So let me just say this.
I'm just telling you, and
I hear.
I'm not talking about my current schooling or anything. I'm just talking about education establishments that I've been in, I've worked in historically. I've seen it, and I've said, wow.
So that really touches on what Nat is saying, and I think
Yeah,
that's
ignorance.
It does, because at the same time, I think parenting is one thing that I think that a lot of parents believe that the school systems will parent their kids.
Yeah, that's
because
what they should.
when
that's
you
what
think
they
about when you think about it, like in that scenario what you just said, whose onus should it be on?
It should be on the parents.
It has to be.
Okay, but can I
It has
just
to be.
can I just interject there?
Go on.
I think I disagree with this. Yeah?
Go on.
Because ultimately, if you got, say you got me and Ace, yeah, and I go, yeah, and I'm good at my work. I get good grades. Blah
You're good
blah
at two
blah.
shoes. You're brown nose. Go on.
What of that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got Ace
Teacher's
over
pet.
here
Yeah, he's got
that's
poo on his-
struggling,
he's got
and
poo on his nose. Go on.
they gotta give more support and education for him, and they gotta give him more incentives.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you're saying what you're saying that's what you're
That's
saying.
unfair.
No,
It
it
should
has-
be
it
balanced.
has to be
unfair. Okay,
fair.
so
Just because
All right, so
because you
what do
achieved
you
my
expect?
my whole point is this: he needs the support. He
Okay.
needs the
Wait,
support.
it's not really me. man.
Yeah, in the scenario,
It's not really
in
me.
this
You couldn't use a
scenario,
different example
in this
than
scenario,
Ace.
hold
Ace
on.
is gonna put
In
me
this
up there and he's
scenario,
down there.
in this scenario, he needs specialist
Yeah.
support.
So what is wrong with that?
But no. And as a result, for him achieving the targets that are set in front of him, he should achieve some sort of reward for that. So well done, a certificate. Well done, here's a voucher. Well done, here's this, here's that. Here's extra break time. Here's this. There's various different things.
Yeah.
But because you have come in and you did well on your 11 plus,
You're expected to do well.
to do well on your SATs. You're expected to do well on your
Because I'm a high
GCSEs.
achiever?
No,
Because I'm a
but
high
at the same time, what
no incentive.
What
There's no
incentive?
incentive, yeah.
No
Because
carrot.
because
There's
for
no
me,
carrot.
no.
The
For
carrot
me,
is-
no, Dex, hold on. For me, what you need to understand is that you've got kids like that go one of two ways. Because in essence, what I would be looking at, and I'd be saying, yo, my man's gifted and talented, so he should be pushed just as much as him.
Yeah.
I want more from you.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
because you're giving me sevens, and I want more.
Yeah.
You can give me more.
Yeah.
That's what Nate says.
If he's pushing, let's say his levels coming into school are grade ones, which is bottom use, basically nothing. If he's coming in with that, and we're saying at the end of his schooling,
want a
we want him
4,
to get a 4.
3.
Why is it that you should come in on a 7 and then just be oh no, you come in on an 8 or 9 and they say no, let's just get him a 9? Well, no, let's excel, let's push him, let's get him to sit
Okay,
couple GCSEs early.
Can I say
that
one-
should
Okay, no,
be
let me
the,
just
and then
respond
as a
to-
result of him
I hear
getting
you.
his
Okay.
GCSEs early, here's a reward. Now you
Okay,
can
can I
focus on
respond?
university
I hear you.
from 15
Okay.
instead of looking at university at 17, 18. There's no reward for those that do well,
Okay.
just as much as there is for
Okay,
those
ones
that
that
do
don't.
can I
negative.
can I
Yeah.
get a response? Because you mentioned it there. It's society. In every walk of life, you'll see that same example. You'll see that same example. But okay, so is that not? Okay, so is that, first of all, is that not a capacity issue for the teachers? Because there's only so much capacity in the school.
Yeah.
So if you've got someone who's failing, someone who's achieving, you're gonna focus on the person.
Yeah,
that's
you do,
failing.
because that draws
So-
down your stats, which is the Ofsted ticking box
But
thing.
that, all right, but
say
what,
it's
you want me to
listen,
end?
but listen,
Go on,
let me
Dex,
what
finish.
you were saying.
But is it though? All right, forget Ofsted. All right, forget. I'm asking you the question.
Yeah, it
forget
is.
Forget Ofsted for a second. Yeah, you've got a kid who's failing here. Yeah, and you got someone who's achieving on their own.
Yeah.
They've shown that they have the capacity and ability to
do it on
achieve.
their own. Yeah.
And you've got this one here who's struggling. What? So you say you as a say you as a teacher, yeah. So that you're gonna basically say that he's a gunner, and let me focus on the one that can you.
No.
God,
So
you know.
what are you gonna do then?
What I'm saying
He's
is
saying
based
splitting
on the
across the
fact
board.
that
I'm saying,
based
what are
on
you
the
gonna
fact that the
do?
teacher,
Has to be
Forget
fair.
what I'm
saying.
gonna do, what I'm
It
gonna
has to be
do is
fair.
I'm gonna push you and I'm gonna draw him up.
It has to
That's
be
exactly.
fair.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna put on additional intervention classes for my man.
But at the same time, your homework, the level of your homework, I'm gonna push that up a level as well. I don't want you doing that level because you want to at that level. I want the next level up from you.
Why is that not being done now?
Why is that not being done?
That's what I'm
Because of the overall pressure of the regulators and the tick box exercise. Those kids at the top aren't being stretched. That's my whole point. They're not being stretched.
Let me say this one thing. We said it's a society. This is a
societal issue.
But even in parenting, because I've seen enough times you got the bad breed pitney.
You get everything.
Then you got the good pitney.
Not get nothing.
But you know why that is? Because it's easier.
Yeah, it's just easier.
Exactly.
It's easier to
So
parent a
ignorance,
child
but it's
by
ignorance.
saying, you know what? This kid, he stole this. He stole. We got a story. There's a kid that obviously stole something. There's a kid that stole something, and obviously his parent then said, you know what? You shouldn't have done that. I'm gonna get you the thing that you stole. It's easier to do that. You know that story, innit?
Yeah.
That's not ignorance.
What is it?
No,
then?
it's
the
still
easy way out.
but it's still a level of ignorance.
It's a level of ignorance in regards to their parenting skills.
Because they don't believe they're doing anything wrong.
So what should they do in that situation as a parent?
What you mean?
Hold on, we're just on to the next
We're talking
subject.
about parenting. I'm
Let's
just saying.
because that's a good topic.
Because I was just saying that the parent that when you favor the good, when you leave the good child to thrive, because you think they'll survive. Most of the time you hear that. That child's all right, man. He's if I was to go now, the bad child, he won't be able to survive.
But that's what I'm saying. In that scenario, you're probably getting the same family, the same household. That good kid in that household, they ain't gonna get the same reward.
No rewards.
They're gonna get the same. They get a reward. They're gonna get the same reward.
Going back to the school thing. Considering it's a legal requirement for your kid to go to school, shouldn't the schools be doing more?
There's only so much.
No.
That's
why I
believe.
believe.
There's only so much.
I believe
Is it not a capacity issue in the schools?
Go on, Boogie.
I don't know. Maybe
should
the government be doing more then?
Yeah, because I don't think it's just when you say it's a parenting issue, as well as when you send your child to school, you expect the school to offer a degree of
your service.
Yeah,
You're paying for it.
service.
Reality.
Well, Maino's point was in regards to the vocational stuff. There are them out there.
They're out there.
But
You just don't know.
My counterpoint to that is that should it be like that? Should it
Yeah,
be a
yeah.
case where you have
should
to
have
go
specialised schools.
Remember, a lot of schools, when you talk about secondary schools, the work on catchment areas. You're then gonna have to move your whole household.
No, you don't.
You don't.
Specialised schools.
No. Private school.
Yeah, well, you still have to take them somewhere far.
Independent schools don't work off catchment.
Yeah, but
yeah.
you're still gonna have to take your kids far out of your
How does that
own-
work?
And at the end of the day,
People have been doing that
if you
for
want to
dumb
break
years,
the
bro.
cycle of ignorance,
And
if
in-
you want to break the cycle of ignorance,
I'm just
you
going
go.
at this point.
You go.
It's investing in your children.
Exactly.
It's
It's just like your child wants to learn to play piano, but nobody in your household knows how to play. You go and you find somebody that plays it. and teach them.
Outsourcing.
Then you outsource it. You do that with your school.
Why did your parents send you to the school you guys went to?
Because
The
my
same
older
reason
cousin
why?
went to.
Oh.
If I'm honest with you.
Arguments flawed.
I got a different answer.
I
This is what you might as well go home now.
was at the younger age of my family.
I went because
it was out the ends.
Yeah, because it was out the ends,
There you
and
That's why
my
I got
all the
older
bad youths-
cousin
all the bad youths
was
went
getting the good grades at the time. She was getting the good grades, right?
So you thought that was the school?
Shout out to Sons.
That was the staple
That's what the
school.
parents thought.
You
You
understand?
man went there and mashed it up.
No, what they didn't realise, what the parents didn't realise,
Basically.
is that every parent from the ends thought, "Let me send me picnic out to the ends." So then they said, "Oh, they're bad breed picnic them out to the ends to the school where you are."
There's a bunch
That's
of
when
bad breeds in
catchments all
there.
started coming in.
Yeah.
It's true.
But this is my point. No,
but going back to your point,
go on.
yeah, you can simply say, oh, well, if you want your kids to do better, then you'll take them out, yeah. But
Yeah.
if you look at the average family and the makeup of the
Can they
family
do that?
and all of that, it's not as
not an
easy.
additional
No,
cost.
it's not as
It is.
easy as sending your
No,
kids
it's
to
not.
10 miles
No, it's not.
to the school every
If
day.
you've got
It's
three
easy
kids
because-
and two kids
and
are
you're
going to one
working.
school and one has to go to that school.
You see
You
my
don't
point?
drive.
That's an additional cost.
Nah, you see my point? No, you're gonna get one
Back in the
kid.
day, back when I was 19, 20, I worked in a school. Yeah.
No, you
And
didn't, you liar.
Bro, I've been working.
I'm joking, man. I'm joking.
But back when I was 19, 20.
I have worked there.
You're gonna get your certificate out, man.
Anyway.
That is going to put up a picture of
back
him,
when I
innit?
was 19, 20, I worked in a school, and when I was at this school, I saw countless parents come in with nothing, and
No clothes?
No, bro, only you would imagine that because you're nasty. Anyway, but I saw parents come in with nothing. I mean, no talking about no bus pass, no food, no money for uniform, no nothing. And I watched countless kids. I watched the head teacher at the time, and he was a real G of a man. Right, receipt after receipt to different school uniform shops for them to get full uniform booted. So for people to then say, "Oh, it's an added expense," it's an added stress because you're taking one to one and one to another. Fair enough, but you can draw down funding from bus passes and
so where's the failure? Because if you're saying your school's done that,
my whole gripe isn't with schools as a
Schooling systems for me.
It's with the regulators of schools
System.
and it's with the government not ensuring that first and foremost real characters with real experiences first and foremost exist
Hold on.
inside schools.
Not
Because there's very little real
so there's no ignorance.
influencers inside schools
There's
anyway.
no ignorance there in regards
And
to that
also
then.
the government don't fund the right levels of support for teachers inside the class. One teacher to 30 students is not fit for purpose. You cannot push. If you've got 7 high achievers and 4 below the belt, you cannot
Do
fall
both.
below. You can't do both with you one. But if you've got a higher level teaching assistant and maybe a learning support mentor, then you can do that. But if you're not going to pump money into the system, you're not going to get the right output. Like China.
Sorry, Miss. I just wanted to answer this. Is my statement about the system it being settled to fail accurate in that sense?
Accurate.
Go on,
Because
Miss.
if you just come around a circle and
No,
you
it's
just
accurate.
basically what I've said,
It's accurate.
go on, Miss.
Go on.
Okay, what would you change about the schooling system?
I'd reform. For me, what I'd look at, number one, having spent a lot of time speaking to students inside schools, I'd reform the curriculum. The curriculum is dead. So
it's outdated.
The things that they're learning are irrelevant.
This is
They're irrelevant.
That's what I said.
But also not just reform the curriculum, but also reform the characters and reform the processes that introduces people to the profession. Because to me, there's too many stiffs in the profession.
Am I so out of touch?
Fed up with the stiff, same old.
Real
You know what I mean? And that just goes across the. So what you said just resonated because it's across the board. Everybody's fed up with the BS. They're fed up with the lies. You get me?
Where's this ignorant? Who's
I think.
ignorant?
I
then?
think.
I think this is a UK
I think this
thing,
is-
It's people, and it's the people.
Across the board.
what?
then.
I think
we
parents.
just-
I think parents ultimately starts at home.
Yeah.
I think it's those. No, it's those in charge. You know what? I don't think it is the parents because the parents
It
don't
is.
influence the teachers that are actually coming.
No, but it
into the
starts
But it's
school.
what they
Starts
accept
what-
though.
But let
Yeah, it
me
starts
land
there, I
this.
get what you're saying.
My thought is this: when I used to work back when I was 19, 20 at this particular school, we used to have a little bit of a saying in and amongst a few of us that teachers lack common sense, just generally.
Well, common sense ain't common, so
They just lack it. And
Yeah.
as a result, what I have found in my experience is that if you want, any teacher can build a relationship with any student. It's not difficult to do. It is not difficult. It just takes patience and a willingness. That's all it takes.
Okay.
Am I so out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong.
But a lot of teachers refuse to build that relationship.
You mean they refuse to
they refuse
step away from the
to step
curriculum.
away from the curriculum
Yeah.
and step into the real world and engage with a young person in the context of a lunchtime, a break time, or just walking to a lesson.
So are you saying?
As a result of them not engaging with the kid on that level, they go into the class and then they expect a student who may have one or two, may have a little bit of an attitude, but they expect that student to be
Follow that
complicit
curriculum.
and be
Follow the school rules.
and be obedient to everything.
yeah.
Is it
But
because of their
first and
targets,
foremost,
though?
eh?
Is it because the targets kicking their ass?
Or-
'Cause obviously
or-
teachers-
No.
Maybe they just can't be bothered.
It's partly because they can't be bothered. Let's
So-
be
so-
honest.
so are you
because
saying-
as I've said,
Yeah, so
they're
you're saying
there to-
that the teachers have lost the passion.
No, I'm not saying all of them, and don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm saying there is a type of teacher that exists in education who is like that.
Yeah.
They exist like that.
They just
They
follow
don't
the
want
board, they
to
follow the
go.
curriculum.
They'll see. Let's say
There's
for
no
example,
passion, there's no
they'll see
care.
all the kids with their hoodies on during a lunchtime, but instead of them saying, you know what, let me go and bunk shoulders with them, they will go the other way. It's that,
But
and
that-
that's
that ignorant?
you got to understand
That
that
ignorant?
to the young people is valuable.
Yeah,
Because
I
you know
agree,
what
I
that
agree, I
does?
agree.
It shows them that you're a real character, real life experiences, real real
Yeah, because-
individuals.
because-
So then when you
Sorry,
go, so then when those, so then when those, hold on, so when those teachers then take what they've done during the breaks and lunches and engaging with those types of kids and talking to them and picking their brains and finding out about them as individuals, when those teachers go into class, they have zero issues from a behaviour
They'll
standpoint,
be respected,
which allows.
and that's true.
Because
You know what this reminds me of.
You've built the
This-
report.
You know
by
what this
then.
reminds me of, and this is one of you said it's a UK thing. It's a
I
UK
think it's
thing.
over there, yeah.
It's a UK
The ignorance
thing.
from it.
It's a UK thing.
What?
This stiff off
Oh,
the
yeah.
lip.
I don't know. Can I
stiff-
say
You know-
something?
you know-
Can I say
Hold on,
something?
let me finish
No,
my
no,
statement.
no,
Let me
no,
finish
Manu,
my
you have to
statement.
go, stick
This stiff behaviour. Listen, it's terrible. I remember watching. If you guys have all seen the film, Coach Carter, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
The
man
way he
comes in.
deals
Man's
with
got
things.
he's able to meet them where they're at. You get me?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
he's
Can I
able
say
to.
something though?
He's able to
Can I
bring
say something though?
culture
You know what
and
you're saying?
everything
It's
to
a
it.
UK thing though. I slightly disagree because I watched the UK like a teaching lesson, American teaching lesson, and he was saying the same things. That there's no passion.
No,
Americans
but
generally have a bit more-
it's the UK thing from the top.
Nah, hear you what he was saying. That he was saying. That he was saying, yo.
You know what it is? You have to blame the mentality of the people. Because I watched one thing, it was World's Strictest Parents, and they send these bad breed UK kids maybe to some Kenyan family or to some family in, I don't know, Lebanon or wherever. When they send them to the schools, they go to school. The students that are in them schools, it's a privilege
For them.
for them to be a high achiever. That's what's glorified in school.
Yeah.
Here, it's like if you're the bad breed, people look up to you more.
So I think the question to ask at this stage is, if you've acknowledged the fact that school doesn't teach you what you think school should be teaching you, what is it that you're expecting schools to teach? Because from my standpoint and from my understanding, if it's to teach you how to become an adult and skills that are going to help you in adult life, there's far too many skills out there that are required for schools to cover
Let me
within the
retort.
short space of time they have.
Okay,
with that-
hold on.
Go on.
With that though, yeah, right. You're saying there's too much teacher,
Sorry,
but they teach us a lot of pointless stuff.
Such as
that's what I want to give an example of pointless.
Ari.
Why? That's controversial still.
Can I say why it's not? Can I say why it's not
I think it is.
completely pointless?
I
Can I
don't
say
dis-
why
I
it's
don't
not?
know, I disagree.
Can I say
I
why?
know what you're gonna say.
What
now.
am I gonna? Go on.
Go on.
I want to hear
No,
what you think.
say. No, you
I think you're gonna
say.
say because it helps you understand different cultures.
Yeah, just on a basic level.
Yeah.
Just on a basic
Understand.
level. That is what I was gonna say. Just
Okay.
on a basic standard level.
Physical education.
P.
Don't
Yo,
diss
some
don't
people
diss
don't
me,
know.
bro.
Some people
Don't
need
diss
to.
me.
You know what?
Some kids
Nah,
need to go
it's
and run it
needed.
now.
When it comes to
That's needed.
Have you seen the kids these days,
Some,
bro?
some kids don't exercise at all.
Can someone give me? Can you someone
He
give
might
more
help them.
examples?
Hold on. Just to say this, when it comes to subjects like that, obviously we know about the core subjects. They're needed. They're needed, regardless of what job, maths specifically.
Yeah.
Regardless of what
Science
job,
though,
you
science.
need it. Regardless of what job, there's a certain. It's when it comes
What
to
about
science.
entrepreneur?
When it comes to science, huh?
There's no job.
Entrepreneurship. there's
Tuck
no-
shop.
When
You don't-
no,
you
when
don't- you need maths
hold on,
for
let
that.
me get to
They
the
did
point.
feature that in
They
business.
made you have tuck shop.
Let me get to the point.
They made you have a tuck
Yo.
shop.
Hold on,
can
Matty.
help.
Matty. Oh,
can
no,
help.
yo,
Sorry,
doing a
sorry.
separate thing.
Sorry, mate. Sorry.
Sorry, get to the point. Obviously, we know about the core subjects, regardless of whether you say science, maybe algebra.
It's a core subject, you use it.
It's what they actually the logic behind. Obviously, what you're doing. Obviously, we know about English, blah blah blah. We can discuss that, but what they have in them is what you need throughout
need it.
life.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
My point is,
Otherwise you'll be washing
it's
with
the
bleach.
I hear you. My point is the extras. They can be generalized. They can be categorized. Sorry, better. Because Ari, yeah, you can say he's learning about cultures. I had a conversation the other day with one of the kids.
Yeah.
What's the point, Ari? I don't like it. It helps you understand
Yeah.
other cultures.
Yeah.
Helps you understand religions. Have a
At a
basic
basic level,
conversation.
yeah, at a
But you
basic
don't
level.
need a subject throughout the whole of
Yeah.
blah.
Yeah, it could
be
to teach
delivered
you
in a
that.
form.
Same with geography. It can be. Same with geography.
Nah, you know why? I disagree with
I
geography.
like geography, but that's what I'm saying. But
Nah,
on a basic level, that's what I'm saying. With
Nah,
the
you know why?
curriculum.
Because you go and ask a 50-year-old where London or where Manchester is in this country,
In London.
they won't even know if it's north, south,
then-
east, or west.
Hold on. A man said, Manchester is in London.
That's
what I know.
People started this terrible, you
Hold
know.
on.
I disagree. I disagree with geography
Just
though.
to go back on what
Geography is more about where
I
the
know.
countries are.
Just
I
to
know,
go
I know,
back on
no.
what
I'm not
Mizzle
saying that's the
said.
base. That's
No,
the
but listen,
basic geography.
Just to go back on what Mizzle said,
There's
though.
a lot of
Just to go back on what
components
Mizzle
to it.
said, though. He would have been to school and he would have done geography.
Yeah.
So regardless, he's still gonna think that way. If he's dumb, he's dumb. That's not his fault. He's
Yeah.
dumb. So what I'm saying to you is they could.
He's not talking about you, Boogie.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
He said Mizzle.
Talking about Mizzle now. What I'm saying to you is there's certain subjects that can be categorized and sort of truncated, if you like, to make room for other ones that are going to be needed
You said
in
what?
school.
Truncated.
Yeah,
Truncated.
You know, like the trunk where you put your wires in.
I thought he said
merged.
No, you didn't hear
Truncated.
it. I thought he said truncated.
Nah, truncated.
I was going to say, yeah. That's
So-
what I said. It's
Yeah.
It's
So-
truncated a word.
Like truncated. So
Brings it
that's
over
what I'm
words.
saying. So to answer your question, what I would want from school for my kids is for subjects that they can take from school and use.
Send your kid to it.
That's
Send
not to
your,
say that I'm not
my
gonna-
response to you then. If that's what you want, Matt. If that's what you want,
Give me an
Emma,
example.
send your kid to an
I
independent
want to hear
school.
it. Yeah.
Give me an
If that's
example.
what you want, send your kid to an independent
But
school.
even
You
that, though,
can
Where
be
you
talking
can
to them about
have
the
an influence
Hold on,
over the
go on.
You can
curriculum.
be talking to them about the basis of interest,
Thank you.
understanding the mortgage,
Yeah.
savings, investments.
Real estate.
Yeah.
But all of that, you see,
Wait.
all
Starting-
of that's delivered.
No,
All of that's delivered
not
in
public.
life. All of hold on,
Where?
all of that
In
is
school.
Oh, okay.
Start.
Hold on,
Wait,
hold on.
I haven't
Let
finished.
me answer.
I haven't finished.
Yeah, finished. That's what
You
he's
talk.
saying.
delivered in life
You
skills,
could.
employability. It's all delivered. That is delivered.
Yeah, but he's saying not in the school
Not in the
system.
school system properly to say, oh, we're going to be talking about
Basically,
RE.
as a lesson.
As a lesson,
We're
that's
gonna
what
be
he's saying.
talking about
Curriculum
RE.
throughout the year. We're going to be talking about mortgages.
These
But
like
the curriculum is called life skills
But I
or
hear you.
employability, and it features
Maino.
those specific
Maino.
components.
Did you hear the key word he used there?
Like,
No.
Employability.
Did you catch it?
Hold on. That's another question I've got
Hold
here.
on, I
right?
haven't finished.
wait,
Listen, let me
finish,
talk.
let
I
him
haven't finished though. Maino,
Well, you have to
Maino,
land
you're
at some
talking
point,
from a
though.
perspective. Remember, my missus is a teacher as well, so I know what she teaches in PSHE lessons. I'm talking about stripping down certain of these lessons that really, if they're gonna go specifics, they're gonna go specific into it anyway. They're gonna go study it more, further education, uni. They're gonna go do that. The core skills we already talked about. With these other lessons, the life skills, investment, starting a business, what it needs to mean to start a business, self-sufficiency, investments, portfolios, mortgages, anything like that.
Investments.
You're not getting in
Now you're gonna
subjects.
get no. You're right.
You're not getting in subjects, and I feel like if to answer your question, that's what they need.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
otherwise, they're set up to fail, bro. They're set up to look and build and go in a certain way, just to feed into a system that's already there.
Employability.
Can I say one thing? Just one thing.
Sure,
Mizzle.
man.
Sorry. You know when we talked about maths earlier, and a lot of the time when people have this conversation, I always say, "Oh, what did algebra do? What does that do for me?" It all depends on what field you're going in.
It depends on what field you go in, and it depends. Algebra doesn't necessarily. You don't necessarily. Obviously, there's specifics, and I can speak this from my missus, a maths teacher. Algebra, from what she's told me, doesn't necessarily mean that you can implement algebra into certain circumstances of a job.
Yeah.
It's understanding the logic behind it, applying something, and quantizing something.
Quantifying it.
Yeah, that's the word.
That's how I
Good
look.
mizzle.
But that's how I look at the schooling system. Not every little lesson you're gonna say, "Yo, I can apply that in my life." But the schooling in general, has taught me organization.
Do you know what?
Has taught me certain
Yeah,
things.
but you gotta. Sorry, I gotta say this. But yeah, we all went through the schooling system.
Yeah.
But we've come up short
We have.
in
I
the
think that's
skills that are actually needed to
Yeah,
take
I would
you.
agree.
when you
above-
go out into the
Hold on,
I am
world,
talking about. Sorry,
Hold
can I
on,
just say
hold
this?
on.
when
No,
you go
no,
into
no,
the
no.
world,
I'm
you're
gonna
like,
go on the back of that.
No,
one.
but my job. When I left school,
Hold on.
I knew when I was in school,
yeah.
I wanted to do loads of stuff.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
As you
The
did,
school,
yeah.
the school didn't really help me in that.
Choose.
sense.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they kind of they thought, oh, he's outgoing.
Yeah.
He's talented when it comes to acting and these things. So they tried
Yeah,
to
yeah.
push me towards
Entertainment.
They did.
Waste, man.
So now he's on camera.
I believe you, Boogie.
Dance.
Now he's on camera.
You know what I'm saying? Dance.
Well, they tried to push me that way. They tried to push me that way. Performing arts. They did. They tried to
Performing
push-
monkey.
Performing arts. But then
Performing monkey
I
could have
always-
been in top boy.
No, but I always enjoyed science. That's why when I left school, I went to do electrics because I always enjoyed science.
What's the?
But when I went to do electrics, I realized, oh shit, the shit that I did think when I sat down and they were telling me no drama, this I thought, yo, that could probably get me somewhere when I leave. I can be
Yeah.
on Hollyoaks.
Yeah.
So
That's
hold
the
on.
shit I thought.
Let
Wait,
me ask you a
let me say
question. I
this.
just wanna ask you said electrics, right?
Yeah. So
Was that in secondary school?
no, this is when I left
College?
school.
Oh, okay.
When I left
That's
school,
what-
I went into college. So when I went into college now, so that's the saying. I went into college now, and then I done electrics. But when I done electrics now, it was geometry, trigonometry, algebra, and I sat down and thought, shit.
No.
When
I
I
paid
left
attention
school
in
and
maths.
I said the same thing that most people say. What's algebra? What's this got to do with in real life? If I took that approach just throughout my life, I would have said, Bumbleclaw. I would have been in English. I would have been in electrics thinking, rotted. I can't. I had to then say, yo, let me go back to my old algebra and my old where it was. So it applied in this field, depending on what
Do you know?
you go down.
Hold on,
So
let me
depends
go.
on-
Yeah.
even the smallest part of school that I think that people take for granted. Oh, it's not important. Geography might not be important. If
That's
you're a
what I'm
journalist, it might be
My
important.
point. That's what my point.
If
is,
you
Alright,
want to be a
can go
weather, if you want to be a
Mizzle,
weather
Mizzle,
woman,
let Mizzle go,
Cut him off. Cut him off.
Go. You saying it doesn't teach us to be basically above the line, so to
Yeah.
speak. I think that's public schooling. Grammar schools and private schools,
Yeah, it's
they
different.
raise the
Yeah.
youth to be the
Scoping, that's
boss.
why.
Where's the
Scoping on the
majority?
child.
What's
That's
the
what Mayo
majority
says.
of-
Repeat what you just said. Repeat what you just said. They raise you to be the
and they're
one.
not dealing with
To be the
behaviour.
boss.
There you go.
I
We're,
hear you.
we're taught to be an employee, so that when Boogie said to teach your
That's a bar still.
organisation,
That's a bar.
right?
We're taught to be
But
employees.
we're taught to wake up at this time, get there at this
Mizzle.
time,
Mizzle.
break
Mizzle.
time this time.
Well,
Mizzle,
I've
you know
said
what?
that.
Hold on.
Thank you.
That leads perfectly onto something that
But are
somebody
you?
says.
Is that negative?
Something.
Sorry.
Nah, no, it is. It is. Hold on.
keeps you like this.
Right?
No, but-
Programming
no,
and
sorry, mate.
gotta
I'm
know
sorry,
your
mate.
place.
I just have to ask: is it negative? Because
It
I know,
can be.
because in my generation, my people I know, bro, they can't even go to work on time.
Bro, okay.
That's the reality, bro. They can't even get up and go work on time,
that's
bro.
never
So
to school
Mizzle.
at time.
and
Mizzle.
and it go even parenting as well.
Mizzle,
Yeah.
what
I
you've
understand the
said
big
leads
picture. I do
leads
get the
on
big
to
picture.
something that somebody said. Somebody said this to me a while ago. That the whole school system was set up by the 1%, the richest in the world, to ensure that they could always have people stepping into those
To work for
jobs.
them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it is exactly that. You're right. Public schools do have that.
But this is what-
at the end of the day, private schools are and grammar schools are what they are based on the fact that because they're elitist establishments, that's what they are.
The elitists can afford to
The
send their
elite,
kid
not,
there.
not just afford to send it. It means that those kids that are going there, they're there for a reason.
They're
They're
learning-
not there to fuck
They're
around.
learning the banking system.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
I understand that. I understand
They're
that.
learning the stuff that I'm talking about.
Exactly.
You know
But
what I'm saying?
this is
which
why.
is why, sorry, just to say, which is why I said my point. As cliche as it is, I think it circles back to the point of failure, because when we all left school, it was like, Rati, what's this now?
Yeah.
We didn't really know Wagwan until you're actually in it, and then
be
you
in the
figure out
deep end.
Wagwan.
I wasn't like that. I
No,
knew what
but
I wanted to do.
School. When you left school, you knew what was going on straight away, blood.
I knew what I wanted to do.
You know what you wanted to do,
No,
but
I
knew
know
what I wanted to do. I
Did
knew
you know
what I was
how
good
to
at.
get it? Did you know how to get it?
I know how to get it, but
Exactly, but
I knew college was the first step.
But we've just said grammar school and private school and this type of school, they'll show you how to get it
From the get-go.
Not- Oh,
You know your
everybody's got
route straight, all
intuition
from
of
start.
what,
From the
what you want to
get-go.
do, but
I'm with
how
you.
to
I
get
get
it.
9.
Nah, that's
You know what you're
I
doing at
got
18,
used-
19.
I've already invested.
Sorry,
I
Nat, I
got
cut you
when I
off,
left
sorry.
school and that, I never had a clue what I wanted to
No
do.
Yeah.
one did.
I left
There's a,
school,
Went college.
didn't even go
Oh yeah, you
bro,
never went for the
there's
first
a
year.
small percentage that will leave school
You started, yeah,
and
yeah,
know
yeah.
exactly what to do and how to get it.
Yeah.
Small percentage. You can check that.
That's scary. That is.
But
Well,
you
that's
know,
what I'm saying.
you mentioned the 1%, and then the 1% are the ones that are learning the banking system, but the school system's designed to basically produce
Conveyor belt, conveyor belt.
workers,
belt.
produce
Low-level
workers,
operatives.
right?
Conveyor belt.
This is why I say like ignorance.
It's ignorance.
Because in 2021, the new age that we're entering into, those jobs that the school system's designed to pump out,
Yeah.
to get you used
Are
to
shutting
doing,
down, locking off.
They're locking off.
Mm.
So
I
at
feel
some
like there's
point,
still gonna be that there.
Nah, it changes because back in the
changing,
day,
so it's
it
gonna
was
be
factories.
technology.
It was factories,
Technology's gonna be
then
taking
call
over.
centers.
Yeah.
Call centers became the new factories.
Yeah.
And we're gonna whatever comes next is
Now
gonna
it's
come
chat.
next.
Now it's auto.
Yeah, but
chats
and then
bots.
it
Yeah,
comes
I-
back to
yeah.
what we were saying earlier, that if you want to go out there as a parent and source out those organizations that can support your kid,
Yeah, that's your job.
then
as a
that's
parent.
your job as a parent to remove that ignorance from you. And
I feel
because
like
you're
it's
not going
like
to get
this.
it nowhere. If you're relying
like
on the
this.
school, if you're relying on the head teacher of your children's school to come to you and say, you know what, boom, 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 you're an idiot.
Nah,
It's
nah,
not
nah,
going to
nah,
be an
Taxes are
idiot.
paid,
Nah,
is it? But you're
nah,
paying
nah,
taxes.
You're paying
not-
taxes, but at the end of the day, understand
feel
the
like it's like
the
this
factors
with
that are fighting
It is.
against the teacher anyway. I've already told you, if you can't, if you've look, you've all had a little bit of an experience of educating your own children. You've only got 2, 3, 5 at max. You ain't got 30 kids in a class.
I hear ya.
So you're seeing the restrictions that a teacher's facing. So if you're expecting the teacher to be able to say, you know what, I gotta teach you English first lesson, and then after I teach you English at 4 o'clock, I'm gonna sit with you for an hour and teach you how to get to from here to there in terms of your future. Who do you think's doing that? You've got to do that. You've got to get off your ass and do that.
Yeah, I hear that.
Because the teachers ain't got time for that.
hear that.
They ain't got energy
Nah.
for that.
You know what, mate?
Bro,
I
bro,
agree.
bro.
I agree. It's
Listen,
not
I
that-
hear that from the teacher's point of view.
From the teacher's
Is
point
that
of view, though.
I hear what
get another
you're
teacher.
I hear what you're saying.
Get a
I
teacher specific
agree.
for that.
But that's what my point is.
All this
Obviously-
outsourcing.
You still have to
No, you
outsource
don't have to outsource it because this is what I'm saying. They're outsourcing it. They're giving it to these organizations. Yeah, get someone employed by the school to do that. And I was like, oh, we got. Listen,
But you still have to kick up enough fuss as a parent. You
but
still have
nah,
to-
listen.
you still
I
have to
was.
be concerned as a parent.
Yeah,
So it all
obviously
starts from the
nah,
parent.
the parents still have to do their job. I'm not
There's
saying
a
the orders
role
be
for
school.
everybody
Yeah.
to play.
But
As
the
Mr.
school
likes
should
to say,
supply that
as
service.
Mr. likes to say,
If
there's
the
a role
school
for
said they'll do
everybody
it,
to
but you'd
play.
have to pay for it, would you pay?
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to. It's investing in
Yeah,
your child.
potentially.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'd want.
I've
I'd want to know what. I'd want to know how.
I've
how
paid for
s-
tutoring for my kids,
Yeah.
so I don't have a
Same
problem
here,
paying.
same here.
You know,
We did that for Sam.
I think it's definitely necessary. I think there's a role for everybody to play. I feel like
And in
there's
order to eliminate the ignorance.
What did he say? Hold on. What did he
Oh
say?
no, but cancel that name.
yeah,
bro.
it just
I ain't gonna say a man's name. Say the man's name, I'll take
I
it.
know that.
But
I
anyway,
thought that as well.
but in order to conclude the actual
Yeah.
the ignorance,
to eliminate ignorance can only be eliminated through education.
knowledge.
Now, as adults, or the only thing that we can do is we can only sacrifice our time and our finances to ensure that the kids them.
But
have that
you
level
know
of
how you
education
you know
and
how you
finances.
you know how
Makes
you
sense.
eliminate ignorance. Obviously by knowledge, but it's by shining light on the scenario as well. Because ignorance is obviously darkness. That's where you don't know anything. The opposite is
Left in the
obviously
dark.
light. Knowledge. That's the only way. Us talking about it,
All right.
maybe trigger something.
Cool. That was Big Man Teams. We had a big
Man
conversation.
things,
All right,
big man
cool. All right,
conversation.
done.
And that is.